I'm Michael, a 30-year-old software engineer from Burlington, Vermont. Our family home was my everything. Every wall, every door held my heart. I poured years into it, believing it was my safe haven. Then, at dinner, my mother slammed her fork on the table. The sound cut like a judge's gavel. "You have 48 hours to get your stuff out," she yelled. "That house is your sister's now." My father just nodded, eyes glued to his plate. My sister, Tara, living in California, barely cared about this place. Yet, she was handed everything. I looked around, memories flooding back. I'd carried this house's weight, fixed every corner, kept it alive. All my sacrifices, erased in one cruel sentence. Tara, who gave nothing, got it all. I was cast out, like I never belonged. My heart pounded, the air thick and suffocating. Their words cut like knives, but arguing was useless. I rose quietly, went to my room, gripped my phone. They thought I'd just walk away. They were wrong. In 48 hours, Tara would step into this house and regret it. Before I go on, tell me, what time is it where you are? What city are you watching from? Drop a comment, let's see how far my story travels. The next morning, I woke in our Burlington home. My mother's words still crushed me. I'd spent years making this place ours. After my parents' financial crash 5 years ago, I stepped up. My software engineering job paid well. I covered the $80,000 mortgage over 3 years when they couldn't. I didn't hesitate, this was our home. I remembered the bank calling, threatening foreclosure. My father sat at the kitchen table, head in his hands. Papers were scattered, my mother pacing, voice tight. "We're going to lose everything," she said. I couldn't let that happen. I drained my savings, worked overtime, paid off the loan. Their relief made it worth it, or so I thought. I painted the living room a warm beige. I replaced warped floorboards, fixed creaky stairs. Every nail I hammered was a promise to keep us together. Tara, though, was a ghost. In California, she called maybe twice a year. When I mentioned the mortgage, she laughed. "That's your thing, Michael," she said, dismissive. I sent her photos of the new living room, new curtains, the plush sofa I saved for. No reply. I told myself it didn't matter. I was doing this for family. I'd walk the house at night, touching the walls I'd painted. They felt like mine. But cracks were forming beneath the surface. My parents leaned on me more each year. My mother asked for help with bills, I paid them. My father, laid off, needed car repairs, I covered those too. I thought we were a team. I'd sit in the living room, cozy with throw pillows and a rug I bought. I imagined growing old here, maybe raising kids someday. The house wasn't just a building. It was proof I could hold things together. But I missed the signs. My mother's calls to Tara grew longer, softer. My father praised Tara's California life, her marketing job. I never heard that pride from me. I brushed it off, normal, I thought. They're my parents, they'd never push me out. That dinner proved me wrong. Giving the house to Tara wasn't just unfair. It was a slap in the face. Every dollar, every hour I'd spent, stolen. I walked to the living room, stared at the sofa I'd bought. It wasn't just furniture, it was mine, paid with overtime checks. The TV, the washer, the curtains, all mine. If they wanted me out, they'd feel what I'd given. Tara wouldn't walk into a home I built for free. I opened my laptop, hand steady. I wasn't going to beg or cry. I'd show them what they were throwing away. By afternoon, I needed answers. I called Kristen, my best friend since college at the University of Vermont. She's a lawyer now, sharp and no nonsense. Sitting on my bed, surrounded by familiar walls, I spilled everything. My mother's ultimatum, my father's silence, Tara's claim. Kristen listened, her calm focus grounding me. "Do you have any legal papers for the house?" she asked. "Anything from your parents or before them?" I mentioned my grandfather, who owned the house before he passed 2 years ago. I'd thought it went to my parents. Kristen went quiet. "Give me an hour," she said. "I'll check something." I paced the hallway, restless. My grandfather's face flashed in my mind. His weathered hands, his gravelly voice on the front porch. "Michael, this place will always be yours," he'd said. I thought it was just affection. Now, I wondered. I dug through a closet box, found photos of him by the oak tree, arm around me. The memory stung, knowing my parents dismissed it. Kristen called back, voice urgent. "Michael, you're not going to believe this." She'd contacted an estate law colleague, tracked down my grandfather's will. My parents never mentioned it. Kristen read it over the phone. Each word hit like a hammer. My grandfather left the house to me alone. Not my parents, not Tara. The will was signed, notarized, filed 3 years before he died. I sank onto the bed, hands trembling. How did I not know? I whispered. Kristen's voice turned cold. "Your parents had access to the will. They hid it." The truth punched my gut. My parents, who I'd trusted, hid my grandfather's wish. They watched me pour $80,000 into this place, then planned to give it to Tara. Their long calls with her, their pride in her, it all clicked. They'd betrayed me, erased my sacrifices. My chest tightened with anger and hurt. This wasn't just unfair, it was deliberate. I stood, jaw clenched, holding my grandfather's chipped coffee mug. His promise, his belief in me, they'd tried to erase it. Why? Maybe because Tara had a family, or they thought I'd accept it. It didn't matter. They'd crossed a line. Kristen broke my thoughts. This will is ironclad, Michael, she said. You have legal rights. We can challenge this. Her words were a lifeline. I grabbed a notebook, listed bank statements, receipts, proof of my contributions. Kristen promised to meet me the next morning to plan. She mentioned filing a claim to enforce the will. We had to act fast. My parents thought I'd pack up and leave. They had no idea what I was capable of. The next morning, my parents were gone, visiting friends in Montpelier. The house was quiet. I stood in the living room, staring at the sofa I'd bought with my first big paycheck. If I was being forced out, I wasn't leaving my things for Tara. I listed every item I'd paid for, the flat-screen TV, the stainless steel washer, the curtains. Each was proof of my years keeping this house alive. I called Kristen to finalize our strategy. We'll file a claim to enforce the will, she said. Get proof of your contributions. I pulled out a folder of receipts, every purchase, repair, dollar spent. Kristen suggested a notarized affidavit to document my role. We'd meet later to sign it. I felt control returning, like I was taking back what was mine. I searched for moving companies, found Green Mountain Movers. I called, spoke to Tom, explained I needed a rush job. Can you do it today? I asked, voice firm. He agreed to send a truck by noon. I gave him the list: sofa, TV, washer, microwave, bedroom dresser. This is my property, I told him. I'm taking what's mine. Tom didn't ask questions, just confirmed the price. I tagged items with sticky notes: what stayed, what went. The kitchen table, my grandfather's, stayed. The chairs, bought last year, were mine. The process was calming, like reclaiming my life. Around 10, the doorbell rang. Mrs. Linda, our neighbor, stood there, eyes soft. You okay, Michael? She asked. I admitted I was moving things out, keeping it vague. It's complicated, I said, forcing a smile. You've been good to this house, she said. You don't deserve this. Her words hit hard, I blinked back tears. Mr. William, another neighbor, stopped by. He'd known my grandfather, shared fishing stories. This place meant a lot to him, he said. And to you. I nodded, unable to speak. Their kindness reminded me I wasn't alone. The movers arrived at noon, a 3-man crew with a white van. I pointed out tagged items, they worked fast. They hauled the sofa, wrapped the washer, carried the TV. Watching my things leave felt strange but right. I wasn't giving Tara a free ride. Kristen called, confirming our meeting time. Keep receipts for moving costs, she said. It strengthens your case. By late morning, the house felt emptier. I felt stronger. My parents and Tara thought they could erase my place here. They were about to learn otherwise. By mid-afternoon, the house felt hollow. My belongings were gone with the movers. I stood in the living room, its bare walls echoing the absence of my sofa and TV. A sharp knock hit the door. It was Tara, suitcase at her feet, eyes narrowed like she already owned the place. She'd flown in from California, expecting a fully furnished home. I braced myself, this wouldn't be civil. Tara pushed past me, heels clicking on the hardwood. Where's everything? She snapped, scanning the empty living room. Her voice was laced with entitlement. I crossed my arms, staying by the door. I took what's mine, I said, tone even. She spun around, face flushing. Yours? Mom and Dad said this house is mine now. You don't get to strip it bare. I stepped forward, voice steady but cold. I paid for that sofa, the TV, the washer, everything I took. You didn't contribute a dime. Her eyes widened, but she didn't back down. You think you're entitled because you threw money around? She shot back. This is my home now, Michael. You're out. The air crackled with tension. I clenched my fists, fighting the urge to shout. You haven't been here in years, I said. I kept this place standing while you ignored us in California. Tara laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. Oh, please. You stayed out of pity, playing the good son. Mom and Dad chose me for a reason. Her words cut deep, but I didn't flinch. They chose wrong, I said, stepping closer. You don't know half of what I've done for this family. She stormed through the house, checking the kitchen, the basement. Her face grew redder with each empty corner. The chairs, the curtains, she yelled, spinning back to me. You took everything. I held her gaze. Only what I paid for. Want a house? Furnish it yourself. Tara's hands shook as she pulled out her phone. You're unbelievable, she said, voice trembling with rage. I'm calling Mom and Dad. They'll deal with you. I shrugged, leaning against the wall. Go ahead. They're not here. She froze, confused. What do you mean? I didn't elaborate, just watched as she dialed, fingers fumbling. Tara paced the kitchen, phone to her ear, voice rising as she spoke to my mother. She gutted the place. Mom. It's empty. I stayed silent, letting her rant. She hung up, glaring at me. They're coming back from Montpelier tonight, she said, tone venomous. You're done, Michael. I pointed to the door. You know where the exit is. She grabbed her suitcase, muttering, and stormed out. The door slammed, the frame rattling. I stood there, heart pounding, resolve firm. Tara thought she could waltz in and claim everything. She had no idea what was coming. That evening, I was at Kristen's apartment in downtown Burlington. My belongings were safe in a nearby storage unit. My phone buzzed relentlessly, my mother's name flashing. I let it go to voicemail, not ready for their voices. Tara had called them back from Montpelier. They were facing the consequences of their choices. I sipped coffee at Kristen's counter, the past 2 days settling into my bones. I played the voicemail, my mother's voice was shrill. Michael, what have you done? There's a stranger in our house. My father's voice cut in, heavy with disbelief. Some man claims he owns it now. Explain yourself. I didn't call back. They'd walked into a reality they created. Kristen had worked fast, leveraging my grandfather's will. She'd pushed a legal claim that exposed their deception. The house was sold quietly, legally, to a local investor. He jumped at the chance to buy a Burlington property. I hadn't orchestrated the sale, but I'd set the wheels in motion. My phone rang again, my father. I answered, voice steady. Dad, I'm not coming back, I said before he spoke. You hid my grandfather's will. You tried to give my home to Tara. He sputtered, angry and shocked. We were protecting the family. You can't just. I cut him off. You protected Tara, not me. The will was clear. This is on you. I hung up, hands trembling, resolve firm. My mother called next, her tone sharp. Michael, you're tearing us apart. Come fix this. I took a deep breath, voice cold. I'm done fixing your mistakes. Talk to Kristen about the will. I ended the call, silenced my phone. Kristen sat across from me, laptop open, papers spread. They're panicking, she said, eyes sharp. The new owner has the deed. They can't undo this. I nodded, staring at my coffee mug. The house I'd fought for, poured my life into, was gone. Not because I wanted it sold, but because their actions forced my hand. I felt loss, but also relief. They'd underestimated me, thought I'd fold. They were wrong. My parents kept calling, leaving desperate voicemails. Michael, we're your family, my mother pleaded in one. You can't do this to us. I didn't respond. Each message was a weight, but I refused to carry it. My grandfather's will was my shield, proof the house was meant for me. They'd broken trust, not me. As the night wore on, I planned my next steps with Kristen. I'd never go back to that house or its lies. Months later, I stood in my new Burlington apartment. Sunlight streamed through the window. I'd built a life on my terms. I landed a job at a local tech startup, a vibrant company where my ideas mattered. My days were filled with coding, coffee runs, quiet evenings arranging my furniture. My sofa, my TV, the pieces I'd fought to keep. I hadn't spoken to my parents or Tara since that night at Kristen's. I'd blocked their numbers. The silence was heavy at first, but it gave me space to breathe. I heard through a friend that Tara scrambled to buy a house in California. She'd expected our family home for free. With it sold, she dipped into her savings. It didn't bring me joy, but it felt just. She'd assumed she could take what wasn't hers. Now she was learning the cost. I pictured her signing mortgage papers, maybe regretting her words. I didn't dwell on it. My focus was forward. My parents faced their own fallout. Without the house, they moved to a small rental on Burlington's edge. A far cry from the home they tried to control. Word spread in our tight-knit community. Neighbors like Mrs. Linda and Mr. William didn't hold back their disappointment. My parents' reputation, once solid, crumbled. People learned they'd hidden my grandfather's wishes. They struggled financially, with no property to leverage, legal fees piling up. I didn't know details and didn't want to. Their choices led them here. I was done carrying their burden. Kristen became my anchor, checking in regularly. She'd finalized the legal proceedings, ensuring the sale stood. My rights were protected. Over coffee, she grinned. You're stronger than they ever knew, Michael. I smiled, feeling the truth. I'd spent years undervaluing myself, pouring everything into that house. This ordeal taught me my worth wasn't tied to that place or their approval. It was in my ability to stand up, draw a line, choose myself. Setting boundaries was the hardest lesson. Cutting contact wasn't about anger, it was about protecting my peace. I'd given too much, too long, trying to please a family that didn't see me. Now I knew better. I walked Burlington streets, past the lakefront, feeling lighter. My life wasn't perfect, but it was mine. If this story moved you, if it made you think about fighting for what's yours, join this community. Like this video to help it reach others who need it. Share it with someone facing their own battles. Leave a comment with your thoughts, your city, your time zone. Subscribe, we have more stories to inspire, challenge, and remind you that you can reclaim your own path. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here.